Welcome to Business Math. Today we'll learn about how businesses use trade discounts, series of discounts, equivalent single discount, cash discounts, and remittance. This is how these concepts apply to real-world scenarios. A trade discount is a reduction from the list price that suppliers give to businesses. The formula is simple. Net price equals list price times 1 minus the discount rate. For example, if a saddle costs $850 and the store gives you 25% off, you would plug it into the formula. 850 times 1 minus 0 and 25 hundredths, which would come out to $637.50. Now you try. You have a $1,200 order with a 30% trade discount. What is the net price? Pause this video and come back for the answer. To find the net price, or the amount you pay for the good, if the good costs $1,200 with a discount rate of 30%, you will first need to change the percentage to a decimal by moving the decimal from where it is at the end of the number to the left 2 place values, making it 0 and 3/10. Then you plug it into the formula. Net price equals list price times 1 minus discount rate. So the net price is what we are trying to find, but the list price is $1,200 times parentheses. So anytime you have a parentheses, that means times 1 minus 0 and 3/10. Following the order of operations, I always start with the parentheses. So I subtract 0 and 3/10 from 1, and then I multiply by 1,200, and my net price comes out to $840. Sometimes suppliers give successive discounts, one after the other. Here's how to solve. Subtract the first discount. So turn the percentage into a decimal by moving the decimal 2 place values to the left, making it 0 and 2/10. Then plug it into the formula. Net price equals list price times 1 minus 0 and 2/10. So you have the list price of $2,000, and you would multiply that by 1 minus 0 and 2/10. Since that is in parentheses, remember to always do that first as the order of operations, and you would get an answer of $1,600 for the first discount. Then you take the second discount and you would subtract that from the 1,600. So you would take 1,600 and you would multiply that by 1 minus 0 and 1/10, which is 10% as a decimal, and you would get $1,440. So the final net price is $1,440. Now you try. A company sells a tractor part for $1,500. That is the listed price with a successive 25% and 10% discount. What is the discounted or net price? Hopefully this is getting easier for you because you're doing the same thing. You're plugging the formula you're plugging the answers into a formula, and you're changing the percentage into a decimal. So the first step would be change the percentage into a decimal by moving the place value of the decimal over 2 place values to the left. So it would become 0 and 25 hundredths. And then you plug that into the formula. 1,500 times 1 minus 0 and 25 hundredths. And your answer for the first discount would be $1,125. Then you take that and you plug it into the formula again for the second discount. So you would take 11 25 and multiply that by 1 minus 0 and 1/10, because that is 10% as a decimal. And then you get your final answer of $1,012.50. Sometimes companies will give two discounts. Let's say you go into a store and they're having a whole store discount and another discount if you sign up for a credit card. Instead of applying each discount separately, you can find the equivalent single discount. For 20% and 10% discounts, you would just turn them into decimals by moving the decimal place over to the left 2 place values, and then you would plug it into the formula. So starting with the order of operations, you would do the parentheses first, and it would be 1 minus 0 and 2/10 times 1 minus 0 and 1/10. And you would get 1 minus 8/10 times 9/10, making that 1 minus 0 and 72/100. And your answer would be 0 and 28/100, or after moving the decimal back over to the right 2 places, 28%. Now it's your turn. What's the single discount for 30% and 5%? Come back for the answer. In order to find the single discount for 30 and 5%, you're going to take the 30% and 5% and change them into decimals. Then you're going to plug it into the formula. So your answer should be, after you move the decimal space back over to the right, 33.5%. Cash discounts encourage early payment. If you pay in cash and you pay early, you get a discount. The terms 2/10, net 30 mean you get a 2% discount if you pay within 10 days. Otherwise, you pay the full amount within their 30 days. If you have an invoice for $5,000 and if you get 8 days and you get a 2% discount, first turn the percentage into a decimal, then plug it into the formula, and you get 5,000 times 1 minus 0 and 2/100. And your answer would be $4,900. If you only pay $2,000 early, then you put the number into the formula, and it comes out to 2,000 times 1 minus 0 and 2/100, which is $1,960. An invoice for $2,800 with 2/15, net 45 is paid in 12 days. What is the remittance? It's your turn. Remember, the term remittance means an exchange of goods. So whatever you're getting in exchange for the cost. So what are you paying for? What is the remittance? Okay, now that you've given it a try and you've hopefully been able to plug it into the formula by first turning the 2% into a decimal. So it would be 2,800 times 1 minus 0 and 2/100, and your answer should be $2,744. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it helped you to compute trade discounts, series of discounts, equivalent single discounts, and cash discounts with remittance. Have a great day.